Hello, this is Katie, and we will be discussing my IoT maps based on the various scenarios. This one is the home network based on the door opener. What I've got here is our devices are going to be these IR photo eyes, and they will be communicated to Arduinos with Wi-Fi shields via RS-232 serial communication. And the Arduinos will count every input. With the Wi-Fi shield, they will go to the local network via the router. They will gather the number of door openings per every 24 hours and then send that package to the router, and then the router will send that package to our cloud here. And then based off this information, it could be further organized into by each day or by door, and that's how it can be organized. This one is the next one. This is the freight one. If a package gets jostled or tilted too far, it would beam up a signal or a flag to the nearest hub. So what I've got here is I've got a tilt sensor and a shock sensor. Both of these would be connected to a transistor on each package, and each transmitter would, each hub would have a receiver. This is based off of IEEE 802.15.4, based off the fact that it's a small packet, only sending a flag if necessary. And the sensors in the devices are battery powered, so no need to connect them to anything. And then it is also, a mesh network due to all the packages, RFD devices, and the receiver is connected at each hub to via USB or Ethernet to the PC, where each PC will then through the local network will send it up to the cloud to be further organized and processed. And within the application, we can record which package or truck where it happened. So based off potentially a serial number or a tracking number can be linked up to those sensors, or possibly the truck identification license tag, whichever. It would also have a timestamp of when the hubs received the alert. So you would have a better idea of how to track it and what in between what two hubs based off of which one got the flag where it occurred. Next is the water pump station in a rural area, like a farm. Right here I've got flow meters for the water pumps. They will all be wireless, battery powered, based off of low consumption. All of these will use low raw WAN, Class A sensors, due to the small package size and the infrequency of sending it. It would not take up too much bandwidth or memory allocation to do this, so Class A would be best, especially for the battery usage. All of these would send out to a farmhouse or a service station based on if it needs to extend the signal at all, even though its signal is good for a few miles. It receives the inputs and via a data logger. Oh my, the flash came on. Technical difficulty. Via a data logger, it would capture the data and send it off to the integrated web browser. There are actually a few of these data loggers out in the world, and these are extremely helpful for having an integrated web browser to easily access via a computer or any computer that has access to that web browser for inputs, real time, and over collected data. So the service station, it would have a receiver, and then through USB, through the data logger, would then have its own web browser. Next, we come to the class network. So here we have two motors. We need to figure out at what RPM they are running at and for how long they are running. So this could be two birds killed with one stone here. I've got a tax sensor that would also record how long they were running for. So they would have a timestamp of when they started and a timestamp of when they ended. And then we've got a button input on the door for those wanting to request coming into the Club Mech room. It would also be connected to a chime, which could just be connected via a digital input through a relay or a very small smart relay of the sort. And that would also send that digital input to, excuse me, the gateway device. And then we've got 3D printers here. What I've done is have little Arduinos with Wi-Fi hats to send out busy signals whenever the 3D printers are actually printing. All this based off of the 802.15.4 with Wi-Fi, so all of it would be over Wi-Fi due to the fact that Wi-Fi in this class building is all over the place, easily accessible. And then you would have a gateway device with its own power supply via, again, the Wi-Fi network to capture these signals, possibly have more than one to capture them between the two stories of the building. And then this would go to the cloud network, and then via an app or a web browser, it would have, and I didn't put this here, but because it's not, it would be for instructors and lab techs. Everyone would have their own login, or possibly just one shared login to look at the live data and possibly timestamps of start and information like RPMs from the motors. And then with an application, this could all be tracked with friendly graphs, easy to access, and there's that one. And finally, my own scenario. So what I've done here is I took some inspiration from a scenario I did see. So what we have here is a control panel, and we've got various timer relays, digital I/O, and possibly a temp sensor. And all of this is in its own control panel with the PLC and I/O card. These would be connected through obvious just wires to the I/O card for their inputs. And this is noted that all these would be stacked around various machines within a manufacturing process, and the PLC is acting as a device that basically a data logger that sends it out via Ethernet to a switch, and then that switch is connected to a centralized PC network. And then we have a web browser, preferably one that is already integrated into the PLC, like OPC network via Siemens. And then we have real-time monitoring, cloud, and then the cloud is for long-term data logging, for possibly long-term troubleshooting. Why is this machine down for this many minutes at this particular time during the day? Is this timer relay having an issue if it's not turning on? That example. And then that's my description down here. Factory places small PLC monitoring boxes on machines. The sensors are connected to the PLC, and then the PLC acts as the gateway to relay this information up to the cloud. Oh, and this would be done via MQTT, pub-sub communication, due to the fact that we don't need bidirectional communication back to the sensors. Sensors are strictly there to send information. And that is it. Thanks for watching.